Hey guys, so this was kind of definitely one of the more odd scenarios of the One Piece anime, to be sure. In order to face with these with the episode and whatnot, but I guess getting right into it, one of the big things with the episode is that once again, art animation was on point as per usual. Like again, Toei just really kind of stepping up their game. Like you can just tell that pretty much Toei is really kind of just trying their damnedest. It's one of those things where you can really tell Toei's trying their damnedest not to pretty much screw up Wano as best as they can, especially in these latter moments for these latter parts of the story for sure. However, between the week-long break and the hour delay of the episode, I often find myself asking the question, was the episode worth the wait? Like that's always kind of one of the interesting things when it comes to situations like an episode being delayed for a week, or it being delayed at all. Whenever stuff like this happens, I often ask myself, is my opinion is what is going to be my opinion in the moment of how I'm going to feel if I have to wait a week, if I have to wait a little bit, if I have to wait for an extended period of time over the episode being on time, on schedule kind of thing. And to me, to that end, obviously the question is, was the episode was with all the delays and all that coming into play, was the episode worth the wait? And that is a resounding yes, and resounding yes, because more often than not, when it comes to One Piece, I often find the longer I have to wait to watch an episode, the more enjoyable the experience weirdly becomes. And in this case, combining that with One Piece's again stellar art and animation that they've been pumping out lately, like it just these two things just marry beautifully together into a great episode for me. And it wasn't even for like the Roger versus Whitebeard fight either, but just watching this episode, you see so many different interactions and interactions, and just how those interactions would basically go on to form the relationships between characters we pretty much know as we pretty much know them today. In fact, one thing that really stands out now that I really didn't pay all that much attention to, but that I didn't pay all that much attention to from reading the manga, in regards to Roger and Whitebeard, is how when you really get down to the relationship between Roger and Whitebeard, like specifically their rivalry and whatnot, their conflicts are a little more than just competitions of strength, more than traditional fight between pirates. With a lot of the fights between pirates we've seen at this point, it's been very antagonistic, very I'm gonna kill you, Straw Hat, or I'm gonna defeat you, that kind of thing. But with Roger and Whitebeard, it is a genuine rivalry out of just pure respect for each other's strength, and that's kind of wholesome and fulfilling to see. It's good to see a relationship between pirates that isn't just based on on antagonism or the idea of killing each other. It's genuinely that these two men, Roger and Whitebeard, that they definitely have a genuine amount of respect for each other, and I kind of like that. It's something and it's good to see that. And we've gotten little inklings of that, obviously, but it's just really good. It's just really kind of great to just kind of see just the amount of just the relationship on screen kind of thing. And obviously one of the bigger interactions with this episode is seeing the younger versions of Shanks, Buggy, and Teach pretty much staring each other down, and pretty much sizing pretty much sizing each other up. You could say a lot of what Teach and Shanks and all them were doing was really just sizing each other up and see which one is like the stronger apprentice, I guess you could say. But it's one of those scenes where even for as simple a scene as that, there is like through pretty much the characterization, the interaction, you can already see what would pretty much form the core of the antagonism between Shanks and Whitebeard. And it is kind of interesting to see how, in adulthood, the personalities of both Blackbeard and Shanks actually kind of switch. Blackbeard, for as malicious as he is in the present time, has a much more devil-may-care attitude and an overall like and a carefree outlook. Like he just kind of he just wants to live his he just weirdly enough for as malicious as he is, he just wants to live his life freely as possible, which in many respects also kind of reinforces just how much how much antithesis he is to Luffy as well. Like with he and Luffy share such in common, but it's just the way they go about it that really matters in the end. And whereas with Shanks in his adulthood is more stoic and reserved. But as a kid, he was a lot more carefree and jokey and whatnot, just like Buggy. So it's like, it is interesting to see how pretty much adulthood had pretty much changed these two people. Like with Blackbeard, he definitely had a much more of a cold, calculated, cold demeanor. But to a degree, I guess that still is the case in his adulthood. But he's just more carefree about things now. And it also goes to show just how much that one encounter with Blackbeard later on had given Shanks such a perspective on how dangerous Blackbeard was. Like this was just like the prelude to that, but so much was already developed about the relationship even before the moment where Blackbeard had pretty much scratched out his eyes, had scratched out Shanks's eye. So yeah, in many ways, it's good character development, seeing how these two, at least the start of how these two people became who they would become. So one of the other things about this episode we see is Oden pretty much leaving Whitebeard's ship to join Roger's crew, which is something we already knew was going to happen just based on history. But the interesting thing is why he does it, because we pretty much learned from Roger that he and his crew had made it to the last island, but not to Raftel itself, because they didn't have someone who could read the coordinates on the red poneglyphs. Again, all pretty basic stuff we know, but looking at all this now and having read the manga, this is highlighting the fact that if anyone wants any hope of getting to Raftel, they need someone who can pretty much read poneglyphs. So even though this is something happening in the past, this is pretty much setting up right here, right now, that Robin is without a doubt a target. Like, Robin has a bullseye on her fucking back. Like she's gonna be wanted by every single fucking pirate in the Grand Line, beyond this point, and even probably in the present. And it also goes to, and it even more so says that, yeah, at some point, it's more than likely Robin is going to be kidnapped, captured, whether it's by Kaido, Blackbeard, Big Mom, like any antagonistic force working against the Straw Hats with an equal desire to be Pirate King. They pretty much, their first desire right now, in order to get to Raftel, will pretty much be to find someone who can read poneglyphs. In this case, Robin is the only surviving member we know who can do that. That aside, though, I also feel this episode has just did so much to characterize Oden and Roger in a way where you not only see their similarities and how their relationship worked, but also I think this episode also showcased like that both Roger and Oden had this very uncanny ability in order to rally people behind them through just their actions and the way they interact with people. Like they have this very unnerving, uncanny ability in order to get people behind them in a way. So yeah, it's in order to get people to warm up to them. So yes, it's very interesting how they both have that same quality about them and see how it worked for them. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I've got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Crunchyroll. Dead Night of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.